Hello wrestling fans, you are listening to episode 2 of the Wrestling Truth Daily with me, Keelan Balderson, editor of WrestlingTruth.com. The CM Punk promo continues to have an impact, no pun intended. ESPN Radio actually played the audio from the segment on the Jim Rome show, and Punk's actually been invited onto the show to get anything else off his chest about the company and stuff. So it really goes back to what I was saying yesterday. If there was any heat on Punk for what he said, which there's no evidence that there is, but if there was, let's play devil's advocate for a minute, I'm pretty sure that this reaction that he's getting would eclipse any negative feeling towards him. Vince loves to be acknowledged. That's why he calls it sports entertainment and not wrestling. He's desperate to be mainstream, to get that mainstream recognition. And this promo just got WWE airtime on a mainstream sports show. So I don't see anybody getting angry about that. And interestingly, to add to the story, according to the Wrestling Observer, there is one source close to the situation that claims Colt Cabana, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar are all headed back to the company in some form or another. So if that's true, then the promo was probably even more of a work than we first thought. Because if these people are coming back to the company, then it makes sense that Punk would name drop them in the promo. But of course that's not 100% confirmed, so don't be thinking that Brock Lesnar is going to show up on next week's Raw or anything. In fact, the report clearly states that Lesnar and Heyman would be signing some kind of backstage business deal. You know, not an on-air contract. We're not going to see Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar on TV, even if this is is actually going to happen. So it may be something to do with Lesnar's book, some kind of promotion deal, or it could be anything really. Now, we can all have some wild speculation and hope that Paul Heyman is somehow getting back into the creative team. I mean, the whole Punk storyline kind of reeks of that Paul Heyman spontaneity and controversy. But, I'm not going to believe anything like that unless I see it. I doubt Heyman would really want to work under those PG restrictions. But anyway, moving on, something I don't ever remember being reported at the time, but which has came out in the last couple of days. Randy Orton, he had an interview on 98 KUPD in Phoenix, Arizona, a little local radio show in Phoenix. And Randy Orton admitted that in 2006 he had a drug overdose, and his wife, if she didn't find him, he'd have probably died. And as I say, this is news to me. I don't remember this ever being reported online. I know Randy was a bit of a tearaway in his rookie days, and that probably didn't help that he was mentored by Ric Flair, the big party animal. Imagine being 20 years old or whatever, or however old he was when he first debuted in WWE. He was definitely young, and being partnered with Ric Flair. You're going to be a bit crazy. You're going to go a bit off the rails. You can't blame him. If you're young, you've got a great body, you're on TV, you got all these beautiful women after you, you're going to be a little bit of a tearaway. And he would party all the time. There used to be reports of him trashing hotel rooms and accosting divas. And of course the big rumour was that he actually took a dump in one of the divas' bags, or he at least, emptied some nasty stuff in there, lots of lotions and shampoo and whatever, and really pissed off this diva. But he used to be quite a nuisance. But I'd never heard that he'd overdosed on drugs. So it's quite interesting that he'd admit that. especially considering WWE's damage control, where drugs and that kind of thing is concerned. You know, they're really strict on that now, the wellness policy and whatnot. They don't like that bad press. Not that they ever liked it, but it's stricter than it has ever been. And it actually seems that it will be discussed on his DVD, the evolution of a predator, that's coming out soon. And this is what he said in that interview in Phoenix. I was ashamed of it for a long time, but now talking about it and getting it off my chest, when my in-laws and mum watches it, they're going to cry. My wife talks about when I stopped breathing and the ambulance came. So thinking about it, my guess is that they're going to present his life in a sort of, I overcame my demons, a success story. You know, it's the evolution of the predator, how he overcame that childlike silliness and those demons and became what he is today. And he definitely has improved. You know, we don't get those stories anymore. He's one of the best in the WWE right now. So it will definitely be interesting to watch that DVD when it comes out. Next story today, bad luck for former WWE Tag Team Champion Trevor Murdoch. Despite having several tryout matches recently, WWE were not impressed enough to re-sign him. And unfortunately there are rumours that he might quit the business. And it's a shame, really. It's not as though he's a bad worker or anything. He doesn't suck in the ring. But if you've not got that WWE body and you've been typecast as a fat southern tag team wrestler, it's kind of hard to rebound from that. You know, they call these kind of gimmicks the career killers. Kind of like the Eugene gimmick. Eugene was never really able to rebound on an international scale. Nick Dinsmore. WWE gave him a few more tryouts, but they just didn't really want him anymore because he'd been typecast, or at least that played a role, typecast as that, you know, crazy, mentally retarded guy, and it's hard to come back from that. And when you're in WWE and you have these gimmicks and then you go to the indies, you make more money playing these gimmicks, and a lot of the time it can get you down because you don't even like the gimmick. But as far as him quitting the business, Trevor Murdoch, let's just hope those are rumours and he does stick around. I mean, if he still likes the business, there's plenty of indie feds and Japan or wherever where he can go and showcase his actual wrestling ability. It doesn't have to be with WWE or TNA, where he was briefly as Jethro Holiday. You know, he's not that old. Give it 4 years and they might re-sign him. So let's hope that he does stick around. Something I also did want to talk about today was Kurt Angle, who seems to be going headstrong into this 2012 Olympics thing. Firstly, for those that don't know, he's basically announced that he's training to compete in the Olympics again. And this training is going to be featured on a reality show. I don't know if that's actually got a spot on TV yet, but somebody is filming a reality show of it. Seems all wrestlers seem to be doing reality shows now, and none of them end up on TV. But there is a reality show of this training. And I don't know how close everybody else has monitored Kurt Angle over the years and some of the things he said, but I'm going to be honest here. He does come across as deluded a lot of the time. Sometimes he even comes across a bit unstable. You know, he recently claimed his Twitter account was hacked when he said something stupid. He had to leave WWE because he couldn't hack the schedule and was on too many pain pills. You know, he's 42 years old. He hasn't competed in amateur wrestling for years. He had a broken neck the first time. So, you know, you add all these things together And it doesn't seem logical to me that he's got any chance of actually making it in the Olympics again. And I've said this on the Supla, but I'd hate for it to be a situation where some production company has come along and filled his head with all these delusions and play to his ego. You know, oh, you've still got it, man. Oh, we're gonna film you. It's gonna be great. You're gonna win the Olympics again. You know, kind of playing towards his ego, because they really want to showcase the desperation and the pitifulness of it all. That this man can't actually live his dream anymore, and he can no longer do it. You know, a sort of real life version of the wrestler in an amateur sense. While he thinks that, you know, they're on his side and that he's really going to make it, and they're sort of playing into his excitedness. That's the... I know that's patronising, but that's the kind of way I see Kurt Angle these days. And I know I could never walk in his shoes or anything, but that's just the way I see it. And quickly moving on, in some more upbeat news, Roddy Piper noted on Twitter that he's beaten cancer again. He said, "I beat cancer again. My tweeters are the best. Thanks for your love." So, yeah, you know, there's not really much you can say about that. Good on Roddy Piper. And the last headline that I wanted to get into today is Triple H takes Sin Cara under his wing. Triple H has taken Sin Cara under his wing and allows him to ask for advice when he needs it. Hunter also said if there was anyone he wanted to work with, to also come to him. And, you know, there has been a certain amount of heat on Sin Cara backstage. People not thinking he deserves the spot that he's got, and because he's been botching every now and then, people are, you know, souring on him. And even Vince was a little bit upset at one point. So it's nice to see Triple H actually come in there and say, look, I know you're a good wrestler. I know you've got a lot to offer. Your style doesn't always mesh, so if you've got anyone you want to work with, tell me. If you need any help, come and ask. And say what you will about Triple H, but I think he gets it. He is a wrestler, so he has that frame of reference that most members of the creative team don't have. You know, most members of creative are just fat former Hollywood hacks, right? Let's be honest here. They know how to write scripts, they know how to tell stories in a certain fashion, but they're not wrestling guys. And Triple H is a wrestling guy. And I know a lot of the internet fans dislike him because he's got that perceived power because he married Stephanie and it seems like he didn't earn it. He would have been a main eventer anyway, folks. But as much as some of us don't like him, a lot of the wrestlers seem to actually prefer Triple H as the boss than they do Vince McMahon. That has been said. And I think when Vince retires and the reins go over to Triple H and Stephanie, we might actually end up with a better product. Stephanie will obviously be carrying on her father's vision, but Triple H, I think he has more of a grasp on what the fans want. And it's Vince that is the one that has this fascination with rebranding it sports entertainment, and they're superstars, not wrestlers. And he's got that desire to be associated with the mainstream and Hollywood, and to be respected in the fields of television and advertising and stuff. And that's his personal baggage. That's his thing. Triple H will likely be more attitude-esque in his approach. And he likes MMA. He's younger than Vince. As much as Vince wants to be mainstream, Triple H is the one that's closer to the demographics and knows what's going on in the world and has his finger on the pulse, so to speak. But we're approaching 50 minutes. That's enough of my rambling today. Hope you enjoyed episode 2 of the Wrestling Truth Daily, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow only on WrestlingTruth.com.